Welcome back to the Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is your latest Arsenal news and transfer news. 15 days into the last month of the transfer window, Arsenal have been forced back to go into the transfer window to find options, as Kieran Tierney is going to be out for quite some time. Now, we are not short of options. We have around 6 names already on the list, with Ivan Fresneda the latest on the list. We're going to be diving into the next Arsenal signing before the window closes. At least we can confirm from Sky Sports that Arsenal will be making one more signing, as Kieran Tierney is edging closer to an exit. 2 clubs are in contact with Arsenal, that is Real Sociedad and Newcastle. Both of them are trying to negotiate with Arsenal on a potential loan deal initially, plus an obligation or option to buy. So with Kieran Tierney going out, with Kieran Tierney out for quite some time, Arsenal are definitely going to go back in the transfer market. But of course, we're going to be diving into much of that. We'll be talking about Kudus as well, and how Kieran Tierney really affects the Kudus deal negatively. It does, because right now that changes the landscape, that changes the priority, angles, that changes who is, on top of the list. Arsenal should be looking, and where we're going to be spending our money. If we had to sign one player, and of course, we're going to sign one player. We're not going to sign 2. It's going to be one. Among these names, I want one name. Joao Cancelo, Aymeric Laporte, Timothy Castagne, Kyle Walker-Peters, Ivan Fresneda, and Mohamed Kudus. Now, you will have noticed that the 5 are actually defenders, and only one, Kudus, is a midfielder stroke right winger. Let me know. I want you to use very, very precise football knowledge when you're answering this one, because it could be the make or break for Arsenal this season. Let's get this video to 500 likes, and let's dive into Arsenal's next signing as we close into the deadline day. Now, let's start off with that Kieran Tierney story, which actually makes this story a little bit bigger. Sky Sports, according to Sky Sports reporter Keith, he's saying that Arsenal and Newcastle are in constant contact to make sure that they can agree a deal for Kieran Tierney. What is going on here is that Newcastle are still a little bit dragging the deal on. They're trying to get Arsenal to agree on a loan deal initially, maybe plus an option to buy. Arsenal are saying this is the time when you get, or when we can get the best amount of money from the sale of Kieran Tierney. So you've got to go permanent. If you don't want to give us money this summer, we understand. We can actually give you the player on loan, but you have to insert an obligation to buy. Now, Newcastle are still in between. They don't want to commit their resources to Kieran Tierney, understandably, because they're actually concerned with his injury record. And Real Sociedad are the same. They would love to take the player, but they're very concerned with his injury record, and they believe probably a loan deal with an option would actually be best for them. So they can look at the player, see, is he going to play some big chunk of the season? Is he going to be out injured for some big time? If the player can actually stand the test that will be put ahead of him at Newcastle and Real Sociedad, both clubs will have to sign him in the summer. But also, do not rule out Kieran Tierney to Aston Villa, as Luca Digne, the left back at Villa, is wanted by Saudi Arabia. Now, that actually creates a lot of positivity around Arsenal. The deal becomes interesting. The deal becomes good. Newcastle definitely will need a left back. They've signed in Tino Livramento. Very industrious, very flexible, and very versatile. He can play on the right, on the left as well. But I think what Eddie Howe is trying to achieve in this summer is that kind of squad depth that can be relied on. So if Tino Livramento is going to be a backup to Kieran Trippier, then Kieran Tierney will be a backup to whoever plays at left back, whether that's going to be Dan Burn, whoever plays there. So in my opinion, and this is what I would say, Newcastle need a left back. They have so many games this campaign. I won't be surprised if they got on serious about Tierney, and to an extent that they will sign him or agree an obligation. Aston Villa as well, they will sign him. They will try to sign him, especially Luca Digne and his injury record. They will try to get someone who's a little bit better, and Kieran Tierney is Premier League proven. But remember, Kieran Tierney was signed by Unai Emery at Arsenal. Remember? Yeah, I just gave you a fact there. And of course, Real Sociedad still want to get him, but of course, we know Spanish clubs don't have the revenue and money that, clubs in the Premier League do have. So with Kieran Tierney going out and Julian Timber going out, that leaves us a little bit light-headed, very, very light on the left-hand side. Because, the danger with Timber picking up injury is that Timber's injury weakens Arsenal in 3 positions. A backup to Saliba is now injured. A backup to Ben White is now injured, and a backup to Alexander Zinchenko is now injured. That is how industrious this guy is, and that is how important Julian Timber is. So, actually, I would suggest that Arsenal should sign 2 players, one on the right-hand side and one on the left-hand side, because even if we signed a right back and a left back right now, it doesn't match up to Julian Timber's industrial nature. Still, you would need a backup to, Saliba, which we don't have at the moment. We still have to pray that Saliba doesn't pick up an injury until later on when Julian Timber is back. So where do we look next? Let's start off with Joao Cancelo. Arsenal are prepared to go in for Joao Cancelo. Probably an initial loan deal to Manchester City would be acceptable, because they have already accepted an initial loan deal plus an obligation to buy with FC Barcelona. The problem is how much Barca want to pay. So if Arsenal went in for Joao Cancelo and we maybe decided to go for a permanent deal earlier on, that could actually cajole Manchester City into accepting to sell. Now, I've seen all these stories of they don't want to sell to Arsenal, they don't want to do business with Arsenal. I think they're a very smart side. I think Manchester City are a very financially brilliant side. I don't think they're going to turn down 30 million euros in a 30-year-old Joao Cancelo this summer, well knowing that in the next summer they're going to get way below that. I don't think they will actually turn it down. And Mikel Arteta knows that he has a good relationship with Cancelo. He has a working relationship with the player, so he can actually call him, cajole him, convince him into, pushing for that move at Arsenal. Yes, there is this big rivalry, and 2 clubs, Manchester City and Arsenal shouldn't be sharing players at any cost. Like, we shouldn't be sharing any resources. But I think that's football. That is the way football is. We're going to see Madrid buying players from Barcelona. We're going to see Barcelona buying players from Real Madrid. That is the way football has gone. It's about the money. It's about the cash. I don't think, to be honest, I don't think Manchester City will be making this a big deal if Arsenal brought the cash. Now, Aymeric Laporte is the other option, and I've just sat down and given it a brilliant thought. And I just thought myself, if Mikel Arteta really wants Aymeric Laporte, maybe there is something he's seeing that I am not seeing. I'm not a manager. I'm not even a football coach, right? So maybe he's seeing something that I cannot see at the moment. And with Aymeric Laporte, you have 2 advantages. You have a player who can play on the left-hand side, although I don't believe in his quality. But you also have a centre-back who can, compete with Gabriel Magalhaes and Jakub Kiwior on a day-to-day basis. My only problem with Laporte has been quality. He is one of the most overrated defenders of all time. He is one of the most hyped players of all time. And I'm not taking my words back. But look, we are in a precarious situation. We are between a hard place and a rock. So if Mikel Arteta can get Laporte in to play on that inverted left-hand side, just like Nathan Ake has done for Manchester City, maybe it would be a good deal. Maybe. So that is option 2, and I would really fancy him if we don't get Joao Cancelo. Now, number 3 for me would be Timothy Castagne. Now, I do like Kyle Walker-Peters a lot, but Kyle Walker-Peters is very, very, very young. And with Timothy Castagne, you're getting that kind of experience, you're getting that kind of pedigree in the squad, 27 years of age, and it's going to be very cheap. He's going to be a very cheap option, and he's one of the players that are going to be very easy to move on. So if we sign Timothy Castagne this summer for maybe 10 million euros, and Julian Timber comes back and makes a full recovery, we can let go of Timothy Castagne next summer for something like 15 million euros or even 12 or 30 million euros. So he's a player that can come in quick and you can also discard quick. I don't think that is the right word to use, but you really understand what I'm talking about. Of course, my fourth option for me would be Kyle Walker-Peters. I love him. I really, really do. I love this combination with Tino Livramento and at Southampton. Before Tino picked up that injury, they were actually cooking. He's got the ability to play on the left and on the right, but he has very little similarities between him and Jurrien Timber. So he would probably force Arsenal into something different, or he would actually still be a very raw third choice option. And I think what Arsenal need is at least a second option or a first choice centre back or full-back. Now, the other name that has actually caught my eye again is Ivan Fresneda. I thought Borussia Dortmund was signing this guy. I thought Dortmund made sure that we cannot sign him in order for them to sign him. But they've not done the deal, and it's still available. Now, Arsenal wanted to do this deal in January for around 20 million euros, but I think Dortmund came in, they flexed here and there, and Arsenal said, well, if he wants to go to Dortmund, and if Dortmund really wants him, how about we let the relationship thrive? Now, Dortmund have not signed him. He's still available, and, Fresneda, again, provides something very different. He's your Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's actually your kind of Robertson on the right-hand side. Can he play on the left? Probably not. Can he be a centre-back? No. But that, again, he provides something very different, and maybe something that we might need in games where teams allow us to play freely, where in games where teams open up those, passing lanes and running channels, and we can actually exploit such spaces in behind. I'm sorry with Mohamed Kudus. I would love for him to sign for us, but right now, I don't think that is a deal Arsenal desperately need. Now, when I look at him play, when I look at his clips, especially this season, he enjoys football, and it makes you envy footballers. Like, they enjoy their job. He's one of those players that would take Arsenal to kind of another level, especially when you look to bring in substitutions in the 30th minute, maybe 90th minute, maybe 60th minute. He would be that kind of guy that just creates a difference. He's got the ability to take on a player, one or two, beat them. He's got an eye for goal, makes a lot of chances, creates a lot of chances as well. I would love him. But I think Timber puts us in a very difficult position, and we must be looking at defenders rather than attackers. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast. I'll speak to you right in the next one.